All right, and we are live. We are recording this session. I'm really excited to present today's webinar presentation entitled Increase Organic Search Traffic and Convert More Website Visitors to Leads. I'm extremely excited to have with me today Boaz Grinvald. He's the founder and CEO of a company called BrightInfo. Boaz, why don't you introduce yourself and tell us a tiny bit more about your company?
Sure. Thanks, Chris. So I am based out of Israel and love to build companies. This is my fourth software company that I'm building, and I find it very exciting because this time I'm building something that was missing for me, in all my previous companies. And so it's always better to build something that you feel is so useful and was missing for you for a long while. BrightInfo, what we do is basically help businesses generate more leads from the traffic and websites that they have without any change at all. And we're going to touch on that a little bit today. And I think that's kind of it as an overview.
All right, excellent. My name is Raulf. I'm the founder and president of a company called Boulder SEO Marketing. We provide search engine optimization training and consulting. That's it. Why don't we take a look at the agenda for today's webinar presentation. First, I'll talk about, I teach you how to increase organic search traffic to your website. Talk about basically our methodology here, the 5 pillars of SEO. I'll talk about the tools that we need for the exercise that I'll show you. Then we'll take a close look at the anatomy of a SERP, or otherwise known as a search engine results page. Very important, we'll take a look at the components of a snippet. If you don't know what that is, don't worry, I'll explain it to you. And then we'll talk about how to boost the productivity of the keywords that are actually already working for you. I'll show you how to get more out of these keywords. Then Boaz, you're going to talk about how to convert website visitors to leads. SEO, like getting more traffic to a website, that's one thing. But then getting those visitors converted to leads, that's the really tough part. And Boaz, you're the expert there. You'll explain to us how it's done. And then we'll answer questions at the end of the presentation. So feel free, if you already have questions, please submit them using the Q&A or chat interface on GoToWebinar. All right, why don't we take a quick poll here. I would like to know if your website has been optimized for search, and we'll probably leave it open for maybe 15-20 seconds. Boaz, what do you think? How many people have actually optimized their website already?
That's a good one. I would want to imagine that most, but I think we'll find otherwise.
Yeah, it's usually when I talk to potential new clients, I mean, it's probably like 99% that haven't really optimized it well. So I'm going to close the poll and we'll share the results. All right, looks like about 38 have optimized their website for search, 25 not yet, and about 40% are not sure. All right, let's continue here. Quick on another poll. Let me open this copy. I know how my website ranks for my list of target SEO keywords. So let's say if one of my target SEO keywords is search engine optimization packages. I use tools. I know exactly how my website ranks for this keyword. Do you have a similar process in place where you actually know how you rank for your target SEO keywords? I'm going to leave the poll open maybe for another 5 seconds. So if you want to share your cast, and 3, 2, 1. All right, I'm going to share the results here. 45% yes. Wow, that's a pretty high number. That's higher than I thought. 27 no, 27 not sure. and we're going to dive back into the presentation. All right. So if you do this, what I'm going to teach you or show you right now, then this could happen. This is actually a Google Analytics screenshot from one of our existing clients here at Boulder SEO Marketing. And as you can see, it's Google organic traffic. From November 1st through January 31st, we helped them increase their traffic, their hits from Google from 4,700 roughly to about 7,500. For this client, an increase in 1,000 visitors, organic visitors from Google, basically equates to about $10,000 to $12,000 in revenue. So they are pretty happy, to say the least. And it's really not that hard to achieve similar results. All right, let me show you how it's done. Quick question, where is the best place to hide a dead body? Boaz, you know the answer. What was your initial guess before I told you?
My original guess was in the trunk of the car. That's what you see in all the movies. But yeah, I know the answer.
All right, it's actually on page, it's on page number 2 of Google. As you can see from this Shitika study here, click-throughs are basically inexistent on page number 2, listing 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and so on. Where you need to be is the top 4, maybe the top 5. The top 5 actually get, I believe it's 70+% of all the clicks of organic searches. Yeah, so if you want to be found, you got to be in the top 3, 4, 5 organic search results. All right, the 5 pillars of SEO, basically the methodology that we've developed here. You got to have a technical, healthy website. Oh, and actually, hey boss, maybe if you could mute yourself, I can hear a slight echo. Maybe mute yourself unless you're talking.
Sure.
That'd be great. I can hear a slight echo there in the background. All right. Your website has to be in tip-top technical health if you want to be found online, if you want to be more accommodating to organic searches. Unless, let's say if you want to hike Mount Everest or climb Mount Everest, you can have all the tools, the knowledge. If you're not healthy on the inside, it's not going to happen. That's probably a good comparison. Your website's functionality has to be accommodating to your website visitors. Basically, this is what Boaz is going to talk about, because then you're going to convert site visitors to leads, and many companies get this wrong. Then I'll be, in this webinar here, I'll talk about on-page search engine optimization. In particular, I'll teach you how to identify the low-hanging fruit keywords and how to improve your click-through rates to your websites. You can be in the top 4, 5 with an organic listing, but if you don't get any clicks, it's pointless. On-page optimization, anything you can do on your website to increase your findability on Google and other search engines. Then our methodology also includes off-page search engine optimization, for example, directory listings, optimized LinkedIn company pages, etc., etc. Anything you can do outside of your website to optimize for your target keywords, and it has become more and more important. Last but not least, social media marketing, social media messaging. I've seen once we start to do social media messaging for our clients, we actually see a dramatic increase in organic search traffic. So the social signals that you're sending out, they have a huge impact in organic searches. I also need to mention on-page search engine optimization. That's where content marketing resides. Very important. All right, for this exercise, you need access to Google Analytics. If you haven't already installed Google Analytics on your site, you absolutely need to do it right away. You also need Google Webmaster Tools, and I recommend you link your Webmaster Tools with Google Analytics so you can pull more data straight out of Analytics. And then you also need access to a Google AdWords account, more specifically to the Keyword Planner tool, which is part of Google AdWords. All right, let's take a look at the anatomy of a search engine results page, a SERP. All right, in this case, I did a search for Boulder SEO agency. It's a pretty important keyword for my company here. I'm a very locally focused company. However, we also work with actually clients worldwide. So this search term yielded about 506,000 search results. I'm competing against 500,000 other documents that are listed in Google's database. This is how Google makes about 95% of their money, a lot of money, with Google AdWords. So if I were to click on one of these ads here, it would cost them a chunk of money. So Google places ads on top and on the right-hand side, but this is really where you want to appear organically. About 93% of all people, I think there are about 6 billion searches on Google each month. They actually click on the organic search results, and as you can see here, obviously I optimized my website for this term. I actually have 2 listings right on top here, so I get a lot of leads from local companies. All right, snippets. You need to understand what a snippet is and how to optimize a snippet. In this case, I did a search for search engine optimization packages, and I will explain why I did this search. I'll show you exactly the reasoning behind. So this would be a snippet. Look at that. I'm actually not #1, but I'm listed as #2, so that's pretty decent. And I will show you the components of a snippet and how important it is to get these components right. All right. This is actually the title that Google displays in the search engine results page. So it says affordable search engine optimization packages, and who wouldn't want to get an affordable search engine optimization package? Google will also display the URL where you're going to be sent to if you click on this search result. Then, because I installed Google Authorship, Google will also display additional information about me, and actually maybe I should get a better picture so I can get more clicks. But I also recommend that you install Google Authorship for your website. And here, this is where the beefy part is. This is called the description tag. The better you do this, the better you optimize your meta tags, description tag, the more control you have over your snippet. And look at that, I actually included a call to action. Click here to learn more, or call my number for SEO packages. Google, of course, understands that SEO is short for search engine optimization. All right, let's identify and put our low-hanging fruit keywords to work. So this is really the beefy part of the presentation. And actually, let's do this. I'm going to switch over here to, this is Google Analytics for my website. You want to come over here to the left side, then scroll down to the acquisition part right here. You're going to click on search engine optimization. You're going to click on queries, and you'll have to link your Webmaster Tools account with your Google Analytics account to get this data straight in Google Analytics. So Google will basically tell me, hey, for this keyword, let me see if I can, there we go, search engine optimization packages, your website was actually displayed 3,000 times for maybe a combination of searches. So 3,000 people actually saw that listing. However, I only got 16 clicks. Guess why? Look at that. I'm on page #2, the dead spot I only got about 0.53% of all those clicks because I'm not on page number 1. All right, so now what I want to know, well, is this really a good keyword for me to optimize for? So what I'm doing, heading over to Google AdWords, and you would go to Google AdWords and click on Tools, click on the Keyword Planner tool, click on Search for New Keyword, plug in your keyword or key phrase in question. I'm targeting the US. I want to do more search engine optimization packages for clients around the US. I click on keyword ideas, bang. All right, so Google is telling me 90 searches on average per month. It's highly competitive. One click would cost me $32 if I were to do Google AdWords. This is why Google makes so much money. So I know this is a search term that I want to dominate. All right, let's head back to my website. So this is actually the services page that if you were to do a search for search engine optimization packages, you would click through to this page here. So what I do, I'm going to click on Edit Page. I want to show you how to optimize your meta tags so you have control over your snippet. I use WordPress for my website, and I installed the all-in-one SEO pack. So here you go, title. You have 60 characters to come up with a meaningful title. Of course, you got to include your target SEO keyword, SEO packages, search engine optimization packages. This is where the description goes, where you can include a call to action. You have 160 characters. Don't go over 160 characters or it will get truncated in your snippet. And then make sure to include about 3 keywords. Don't put more keywords in there. And if you do this right, you have absolute control over your snippets and you'll rank higher. I mean, there's a lot more to SEO, but this is how you have control over your snippets, and you will increase your click-through rate. All right, so that's a very, very short SEO tutorial. Now, if you're in the Denver area, we're actually doing a full-day workshop on April 29. We still have, I think, 1 or 2 spots available. If you're here, you can visit boulderseomarketing.com/training. Use this code for $50 off the registration fee. I hope you can join us and make the time. Now, Boaz will tell us how to reduce bounce rates and such. Because we can, as an SEO company, we can get more people to a website, but unless you reduce the bounce rates and keep people for a longer duration on your website, it's a little bit pointless. That said, Boaz, if you want to unmute yourself, we're going to take a quick poll here. I want to know how many people already have tools in place to convert site visitors to leads. I'm going to keep it open a little bit. And Boaz, can you hear me? Are you unmuted?
Yeah, I hear you fine.
There you go. Great. So let's leave it. What do you think? How many people do you think have a tool in place to convert site visitors to leads?
Well, I would imagine less than the percentage optimized for search, for sure.
Let's see.
I would say under 40.
All right, let's close this poll, and I'm going to share the results here. 33%. So about 70% are good leads for you, Boaz. 44% no, 22% not sure. I'm going to hide this poll. Boaz, I'm going to make you the presenter.
Great.
All right, so it's all you. If you want to share your screen, please.
Yeah, do you guys
Looking
see
good.
my headline slide?
Yep.
So basically, like Chris mentioned, we all spend a lot of time and effort to build traffic to our website. According to a recent Forrester article, over 90% of businesses actually use content marketing to drive those traffic, which also obviously helps our website to be picked up by search engines, like the Google example that Chris had shown. And so we blog or provide meaningful data on our website in order to be caught up by the search engines and to drive traffic to our websites or blogs with the hope that people will engage. And once they're on the site, we generally try to move them forward in our buying journey, depending on the business type. Obviously, what's the business, what's the vertical, and what's exactly the product. We try to move these folks forward into eventually buying something or downloading something or signing up for a newsletter, becoming a lead. So that's typically how most businesses conduct their online marketing. According to a recent survey that we ran in the software industry, across quite a few dozens of companies, we found out that 87% of companies actually use a mix of premium content that requires sign-up and registration, as well as free open content that doesn't require any sign-up registration to get the best of both worlds, be both SEO friendly as well as be able to generate leads from the traffic. The issue with the world of content marketing, where you build all those blog posts and articles and webinars and videos and post them online, is that you really can't use them all. Typically, if you have more than like 5 or 6 pieces, you can't really use them all, on each page. So you kind of select arbitrarily what you want to show on each page. Sometimes it's the right thing for the specific individual visitor, and sometimes it's not, and they walk away because they're short on attention span, even though you may have just the perfect, the right vertical or the right solution article. It's just not in front of your visitors. And that's where there's a gap in the content marketing industry between the space you have to show items and the amount of items that pile up. And so that's why we built BrightInfo, which is a content recommendation solution for businesses. You can very easily add to every site, and it will know what type of next steps or marketing content to recommend to each individual visitor. And it does it a bit differently on your website, your landing pages, or your blog in order to maximize the engagement depending on the type of audience that gets to those pages and their behavior. And I'll explain a bit more about that shortly. So just to give you a bit more color and texture on how something like that looks, it generally looks like a recommended content bar that can be embedded into your pages or showing up as a bar, as a floating bar, either at the top, the bottom, or the side. Very easy to customize the look and feel. So in terms of blog visitors' behavior, what we typically want to do with a blog is once we get the traffic, we ideally want to either retain them, make sure they come back, or we want to ship them forward to the business website because that's where we really want them to be. So what we are doing in order to facilitate that automatically is we recommend to those visitors contextual content that fits what they're reading on the blog from the website dynamically as a way to move them forward by pressing those recommendations from the blog to the website. There are businesses that do it also manually. You can link into every article a recommendation for the next step and have that next step be a similar related article on your website as a way to drive more visitors from the blog to the website. However, obviously, it's more time-consuming and manual and requires some maintenance across time. And in addition, there's also a lot of blogs that offer blog update signups or newsletter signups. This is a great way to engage with the blog visitors. However, in most cases, it doesn't really work because the plugins that provide those signups typically are static, hide in a specific corner of the blog, and are not really showing well. And new blog visitors typically want to read something before they sign up, so you need to actually engage with them after they read at least the blog post, if not two. So what we're doing at BrightInfo is to offer only the really engaged visitor a very bold, dynamically showing blog sign-up pop-up that shows up only for blog visitors who hadn't signed up yet and are on the blog for a long period of time, or have read multiple articles, or have returned for the second or third time. That's where you have a better chance of signing them up. And obviously your sign-up offer has to show in a bold spot. Once we get the visitors onto the website, again, the key here is to keep them engaged. I think there are many industry surveys that talk about the fact that the attention span of online visitors is diminishing, and in most cases you see them reading maybe just a couple of pages. And so you really need to grab their attention quickly on their first or second page. So the way that we address it is that once they're on the website, immediately we understand, how what their area of interest is in the website based on what they're reading and other parameters that I'll explain shortly, and try to offer them the most relevant content as a way to move them forward in the buyer journey, get them to eventually sign up for some sort of premium content offer, or for a download, or for a purchase, and obviously keep them engaged so they don't bounce off. On landing pages, the challenge is a bit differently. Once you get the visitors to landing pages, the bounce rate is crazy, way above 90% for most landing pages. People get there, they maybe hadn't realized that they need to sign up. Maybe they are thinking that they were offered some, one thing, but now that they read the more complete description, they see that it's not really what they thought it is. Huge bounce rate. What we discovered here is that you can engage with that audience as they head out the door. And the way that we do that is we pop up an alternative content offer just for the visitors that we identified in advance that they're about to head out the door. And we see that with this thing, we can actually engage with bouncing visitors, for up to 10% of those bouncing visitors will actually click on a relevant content offer and stay in if you catch them at the door, which is pretty cool. To give you a bit more background before we get into the case study of how we do those things, we monitor the anonymous visitor behavior on the website or the blog of the business. We don't look at any, social sites or compromise the visitor's privacy. We just look at digital, behaviors and time. So we kind of look at what they're reading, if they have come from a search engine, what are the keywords, like you've seen from Chris's demonstration, that's the key to understanding what visitors are looking for. We also look at individual visitor behavior, how much time they spend on each page is an indication of their interest in the page topic. For example, if they enter the page about the Formula One race car and they stay there for like 5 seconds, obviously they're not engaged. But if they stay there for 60 or 90 seconds, it's a whole different story. And then we look at what was engaging for them in the past, and we try to look for commonality with what was engaging for other similar crowds in the past on the exact website. And we mix and match it all in real time to be able to pick up the most relevant content offers to those anonymous visitors. The way that we identify bounce intent is we watch mouse movement, and we also watch the time on page. If it's a landing page or a page with a form, and if a visitor has not engaged with the form and started to fill it in, maybe for a minute, we will pop up one of our content offers offering an alternative piece of content, and doing that will mitigate the bounce. I hope that was a good overview for you about some of the tactics that we provide, and you can to some extent also use these manually to engage with the different audiences that show up on your blog, your website, and landing pages. I'll describe now a live case study with a software company called Virtual Bridges out of Texas that actually just by placing our JavaScript on their site without any change to the website or any change to SEO or their content, increased leads and conversion rate by 24% within 30-day trial period. So just to give you a bit of an overview, Virtual Bridges is, like I said, Texas-based, pioneered in the virtualization software industry. And in terms of marketing strategy, they rely on a combination of driving paid traffic through ad campaigns and organic traffic, which they build through search engine optimization and through building relevant content offers like blogs, like articles, etc. And then once the traffic and visitors come in, Virtual Bridges actually leverages a mix of those free and premium type, sign-up type content to make sure that some of those visitors, as they move forward in their buyer journey, need to leave their details to get the premium content. They were concerned that with all this content that they have been building for the last 2 years, it's piling up, and visitors really don't see the forest for the trees. They really can't, in the 1 or 2 pages that are coming in to take a quick look, engage with the most appropriate content for them, and we're concerned that this is what's driving a significant bounce rate. So in terms of the solutions, they signed up for our content recommendation service just by signing up on our website and plugged our JavaScript onto their website. They also have a marketing automation system from Axon that knows how to receive parameters in a standard way called UTM field, which we can produce. So automatically, it picked up on our analytics, and they were able to see everything from their favorite analytics dashboard. And immediately from setting our code on their website, BrightInfo started to look at all those digital hints of visitors and recommending online visitors relevant content. In their own words, you can read they were kind of surprised to see how they got a bump in lead immediately, and again, with no manual labor whatsoever. And then just to give you a sense of how the recommendations look, obviously each site can customize them to look differently, both in terms of layout or colors, font, icon. For website browsing visitors, the left-hand side bar floating is the recommendation bar. Because it's floating, it's always there, non-intrusively, regardless of the scroll area or the page layout and design. So you know that the calls to actions are really at the fingertips of the audience. And then once they try to head out the door, either from a landing page or one of the regular pages, assuming they haven't signed up for anything yet, a more bold-looking, larger call to action will pop up, engaging with them at the door. And like I said, we see up to 10% of visitors taking us on alternative offers before they bounce and head off, which can cut down the bounce tremendously. In terms of quantifiable results, Virtual Bridges was able in the 30-day free trial period to see immediately 24% more leads. They saw it in their own dashboard, like I mentioned earlier. Other positive side effects were obviously that bounce rate dropped and that visitors read more content on their way to sign up because they had them at their fingertips and they had the relevant ones at their fingertips. This is just the summary quote from their VP of Marketing. If you are investing in content marketing, you are building content, you really always want to make sure that you get the most return from it. You spend so much time and hard labor and research creating it that you really want to make sure you put it to good use. This is kind of a summary of what's unique about BrightInfo. It's focusing on the anonymous visitor buyer journey phase across your online assets, your blog, website, and landing pages. It's truly personal and dynamic. Each visitor gets their own personal experience. And then, in addition, there's unique analytics and a really low-touch experience. That's kind of it, Chris, from my end.
Great. Thanks a lot, Boaz. Let me take control back here. And then, there we go, show my screen. Let's go to, thanks a lot, Boaz. That was really interesting. Why don't we jump into questions and answers? And if you'd like to connect or learn more about BrightInfo or Boulder SEO Marketing, you get all of the contact information right here. Boaz, why don't we start with a question for you? Actually, can you tell us a little bit more about the free trial? How does it work if somebody wants to try your tool?
Sure. Yeah, definitely. We offer a free 30-day fully functional trial on our website. It's very easy to find it. All you have to do is fill in, 3 forms and 3 fields. And that's it. You're in. You get the software, the Java piece of code that you put on your website, and our software processes your website and finds out everything it needs to know about your marketing content, your pages, what they're about, sends you a notification when it's ready, which is in a matter of hours, and then you can test it out in what we call private mode, where it's just you seeing the recommendation or your team. Afterwards, once you feel comfortable with it, and you select different designs, colors that you feel represent well your website and brand, you can just turn on the switch. The whole process, and we've worked with 100 companies, takes less than 20 minutes.
Wow. Wow, that's amazing. Let me see, SEO question here. What are common SEO mistakes? I would say marketing mistakes. There's not enough compelling content created on a regular basis. That's a problem that if you use a tool such as BrightInfo, you need to have compelling content. So that's why a very well thought out content marketing strategy with optimized content is extremely important, and we help a lot of clients with their content marketing strategy. Then what I see often, meta tags are missing. That's where you're missing out the snippets, very low click-through rates, and then a lot of companies that don't use Google Webmaster Tools. The hype right now, the big buzzword is like big data, but if you don't take advantage of your small data, you're totally missing out. Let me see. That is a question. What are the major reasons and solutions why viewers leave landing pages? Boaz, I'm going to ask you to answer this question first.
Could you repeat again, Chris? I lost you for a second.
What are the major reasons and solutions why viewers leave landing pages? Why do people get to a page and then abandon the page right away?
Well, I think that most landing pages are promoted by paid advertisement or by very short snippets on websites. So obviously, people that build them try to make them as attractive as possible. Then you get to a substantial, looking page that you see that has much more information on, has a form on. Suddenly, you're not sure you really want that information or that offer so badly that you want to fill in the form. And then there's a lot of optimization tactics around those landing pages. The shorter the form is, the better chance you have of people actually filling it in and going through with it. There's different design guidelines for such pages. You don't want them to be too long. You don't want them to go over the fold. You don't want the person visiting the page to need to scroll. You want to have a very clear call to action, both textually and graphically. There's a whole set of guidelines on how to optimize those, but the short of it is that there is always an inherent gap because you don't advertise in advance that this is something you will need to sign up for.
Yeah, I mean, it's
then, in the way that the page looks, people bounce off.
Yeah, I mean, landing page design, it's its own science, and I mean, there's a lot of great information out there, and you gotta test, do some A/B testing. Use landing page A for a certain time, and landing page B for a certain time. Which one converts better, and then just continually improve, make it easier for your visitors to take the desired action. All right, let me see. How much content do I need for BrightInfo to be effective?
It's a great question. So basically, we work with a wide range of companies, from small startups to publicly traded companies. And on the smallest size, I would say that starting with like 7, 8 pieces of content, you already have enough that you can showcase them.
Oh, Boaz, I think we lost you. We lost your audio. Let me answer another SEO question here while we wait for Boaz to come back. Boaz, just ping me when you're back, and we're actually nearly out of time anyhow. How many keywords can we realistically optimize our website for? It sort of depends on the size of the website, but if you're a smaller company, I would stick maybe to 20.
Sorry,
oh, you're back.
Yeah,
all right. Let me quick answer my question. So I would say 20, 30 keywords is realistic for a smaller website. If you're a big website, multiple product lines, I would have a subset of keywords for each product line. It's going to be very involved. So 20, 30 keywords for a smaller website. Go ahead, please, Boaz.
So basically, with starting with like 7, 8 pieces of content, you already can't have too much to display, obviously, on a single page, and then you would like to somehow make sure that you showcase only the most relevant one for the individual visitor on the specific page he's on. And so we see, even with as little as 7 or 8 pieces of content, that you can actually gain a significant bump in the conversion rate and the engagement if you use those content items wisely and dynamically.
Great, great. We're actually nearly out of time here. Let me see. How often should we blog? That's a great question. For our clients, we do it at least once a week. Content creation takes time, and if you create content, it has to be super high quality. Don't try to outsource it to somebody who's cheap, who doesn't really know your industry. SEO is all about high quality content that people will link to, they will share it. So if you invest money and time into content creation, put your everything into it. Make sure it's very well researched. It's actually worth reading. That's my take. We do everything by the book here at Boulder SEO Marketing. Let me see, Boaz, one more question for you, and then I'll think we'll conclude this session today. What controls do I have on the look and feel of the recommendations and pop-ups? You already addressed it, but can you, a few more specific answers?
Yeah, sure. So we allow you to control most of the aspects of every one of our pop-ups. You can control them separately, and so you may have, one design accompanying visitors to the website as they're browsing, and a different design totally popping up for them with the Boulder call to action once they head out the door. The customers of BrightInfo can actually set a wide range of parameters from colors to fonts to icons. They can also customize their own custom graphics, sort of like their own graphical ads that pop up for those visitors that bounce off. So there's really a wide range of options to make sure that the end result fits your brand colors and look.
Awesome. Okay. Well, we're 2 minutes over, Boaz. I know it's late for you. Hey, I had a blast presenting this webinar with you today. And
yeah, I had a good time too, Chris. Really enjoyed it.
Great. It's very easy to work with you guys. If you want to sign up for BrightInfo, there it is. Just go to brightinfo.com. And again, if you're in the Boulder, Denver area, the workshop is on Tuesday. I think we have 1 or 2 spots left. And I look forward to hopefully talking with all of you soon again. Boaz, thanks again to you and your team. And I will talk to you very soon.
Great.
All right. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.